Welcome children to another session of English class, and today we are going to start a new topic in grammar, that is subject and predicate. But before that I would like to tell you one very important thing, that very soon I will be taking your online test, that is a revision test from chapter 1 literature, that is use, and first chapter from grammar. So you are required to thoroughly go through the chapters, means each and every line, because the question may be based on MCQ, that is multiple choice question. So from anywhere, that means inside the chapter, I will be framing the questions. So you all are required to thoroughly revise it. So today let us start with subject and predicate. Before this, I would like to ask you, like you have already done noun. What is a noun? Noun is a name of a person, place, animal or thing. So that what refers to subject. Subject means when we talk about any person, place, animal or thing. Okay, so any name of any person, place, animal or thing, that will be the subject. And predicate is what? Predicate will be what we are talking about the subject, or what is the subject doing in a means in a sentence, that will be the predicate. So let us see one by one through the examples. Now here the very first sentence is Ritu lives in London. Okay, so as I have already told you that subject is the name of a person, place, animal or thing, or we may simply say a noun. So here where is the noun? It's Ritu. Okay, so Ritu means we are talking about Ritu here, that she lives in London. So obvious that Ritu will be the subject, and what we are telling about Ritu, that she lives in London. So in predicate you will always find that the verb plus the object, that means lives in London. So lives here is the verb, so that will always come under the predicate part. Okay, so the entire thing what is being told about Ritu, that she lives in London. So lives in London will be predicate. Now you may see here we have divided into two parts, subject and predicate. So we are talking about the noun Ritu. Okay, so that is the subject, but what we are talking about her, that she lives in London. So lives in London will be the predicate. So always remember, in predicate part you will have the verb plus object. So lives is a verb, so it will always come under predicate. Now why it is a subject and predicate? Because Ritu, as I have already told you, it's a noun. The subject means what the subject is, and what is the subject doing, that will be the predicate. So subject is what? Subject is a part of a sentence that tells us what the sentence is about, means about whom we are talking in a sentence. Okay, the person, place, animal or thing, when we talk about it, that is the subject. And here the sentence is telling about Ritu, so Ritu is a subject. Now what is a predicate? Predicate is a part of a sentence that tells about or talks about the subject. So whenever we say anything about the subject, that is the predicate. And here the part of sentence lives in London is predicate, because it talks about Ritu, who is subject. Now second example, a big banyan tree stood at the bank of the river. Okay, so here now you might have understood what is a subject. So here about what is being talked in a sentence, it is about a big banyan tree. So that big banyan tree will be subject, and stood is what? It's a verb. So what is being said about the tree, that it stood at the bank. Bank means at the side of the river. So stood at the bank of the river will be predicate. So here you may find we have divided into two parts, subject and a predicate. A big banyan tree. Predicate will be stood at bank of river. Yes, one more thing I would like to tell you here, that we have already learned the definition of a sentence. So a sentence is a group of words which makes meaningful statement, which gives you a meaningful statement. Along with that, always a proper sentence or a complete sentence should have a subject and a predicate. So unless and until a subject sentence is having a subject, suppose a sentence is not having the predicate, only a subject, that it won't be considered to be a sentence. And vice versa. And if it is having a subject but no predicate, or if it is having a predicate or no subject, it would never be considered as a subject. So a sentence should have both a subject and a predicate. So here I have already made you understand that why it is a subject and predicate. Okay, so a big banyan tree is a subject and predicate will be stood at the bank of river. So subject, again, because it is a part of sentence that tells us what the sentence is about. So the sentence is about a big banyan tree. So it is a subject. And why stood at the bank of river is a predicate, because it is a part of a sentence that talks about the subject. Here the part of sentence stood at the bank of river is predicate because it talks about banyan tree, which is the subject. The teacher taught the children. Now we will do some exercise, like here the teacher taught the children. Yes, so what will be the subject? Yes, the teacher will be the subject, because what is the sentence talking about? The teacher. And what is the predicate? Because here the verb starts from taught, so taught the children. So you can see here the teacher is the subject and taught the children will be predicate. Now one more thing which till now you have seen that always the subject is coming at first. That means the teacher taught the children. So you find the subject is always placed before. But some sentences you find the subject comes after the predicate. Like for example, if I say, at the bottom of the river lay the woodcutter's axe. Now the woodcutter's axe, we are talking what the sentence is talked about, the woodcutter's axe. Okay, so here it will be considered as a subject. At the bottom of the river lay, the sentence starts with at the bottom of the river lay, so that will be the predicate. So at some cases we find that in some cases we find that the predicate is written first followed by the subject. So you have to be very careful when you have to divide into subject and predicate. It is not always that the subject comes at first. Okay, so subject may also comes followed by the predicate. So here the teacher is the subject, predicate will be taught the children. So subject is a part of sentence that tells us what the sentence is about. Here the sentence is telling about the teacher, so it is a subject. Again, why taught the children is a predicate? Because it's a part of sentence that talks about the subject. Here the part is taught the children is predicate because it talks about the teacher who is a subject. Now we will see subject in an imperative sentence. What is an imperative? As we have already done. Okay, it's a wish, command or any suggestion. We call it an imperative sentence which ends with a full stop. So there we will see where is the subject in an imperative sentence. Here the first example is close the door. Now when I say close the door, it is very obvious that when you say to close the door, you are saying to the second person and you never tell yourself. Okay, So close the door, it is very much understood that you are telling the second person to close the door. So where is the subject and where is the predicate here? Here you will find that you is the subject and close the door is the predicate. That means you subject is hidden in the imperative sentence. Okay, so whenever you have the imperative sentence like go out, out of the class, close the door, drink milk, so always there the hidden subject will be you. So whenever you find certain imperative sentences, please make sure that if you are not finding any noun over there, then the noun will be the second person, that is you will be the subject in an imperative sentence. Now like close the door, as I have already told you, you is the subject which is not written but it is implied. That means you have to you have to take it for granted that you is the subject there, and in all imperative sentences the subject is always you and it is not stated but implied. Now the homework will be to revise the chapter along with the examples, and you have to do the exercises 1, 2, 3 and 4 given in the end of the chapter in page numbers 23 and 24. And first you may do in book with the pencil, and afterwards you may do in the copy with the pen. Thank you.